Hey everyone, it's the Shnakey back again with another video. Here's my Cyberpunk 2077 video as promised, and here's me attempting to do some stealth. I thought it was quite fitting to start with some boxing here, one of the missions in the game, and immediately get seen by this guy, or nearly seen, shit myself, and then proceed to backpedal again. Now I say attempting to do stealth because I find with these games I don't tend to get on too well with the stealth mechanics in the game. The game I actually enjoyed most, believe it or not, in recent years, I say recent years, probably in the last 10 years, so it was actually Far Cry 3, funnily enough. I really enjoyed the stealth in that. There's my character. Kind of looks like something you'd see out of that episode of South Park where they all dressed up as ninjas. But it's a mishmash of different clothing, and I kind of have that because of the armor stats that they give me. I'm only very early on in the game, guys. I like to take my time with all games that I play, but this is particularly one I feel like I'm going to take my time with if I can manage to continue to keep enough patience to actually make my way through it. And as this video is basically all about, it's my thoughts on the game and how this manages to be a really, really enjoyable experience at times, a really, really good-looking experience at times, and how it also manages to be the exact opposite of that as well. And as you can see with the title there, you've been cyberpunked. You kind of feel a bit punked when you've purchased this game for full price like I did, and my friend also purchased it as well when the game came out first, and it was a hefty price tag even on PC, and I think a lot of gamers, especially on console, feel quite hard done by with the quality of the game that has been put out here. But I'm quite a patient person, and maybe not the most tolerant at times, but I try to be as patient as I can, checking out some of these retro games here on the arcade machines, always getting distracted by these sort of things. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to give this game time to see if it improves. Does it live up to expectation? That's the question that everyone wants to know. I think it's very hard. It would be hard for any game to live up to expectations. So here you can see me kind of struggling with trying to get this guy out of it. I had actually originally gone over to that guy twice and I couldn't kill him from behind silently, so did a bit of a walk around, so that's why there's a bit of a cut there. But I managed to get rid of him, and as you can see here then, in general style and Shnakey fashion, my stealth soon fails here, and I end up having to get into a full-on confrontation with these guys in this mission here, which turns out to be quite a difficult confrontation. But back to what I'm talking here in terms of the actual bugginess and the issues that the game has had since launch. I kind of expect most games these days, we've saw it with Watch Dogs Legion there recently, are going to have some sort of issues. But when you have a game that you download a massive patch for on day one and you still have this number of bugs and issues, you know, it's going to get the community upset in many different ways. But as I said before, when the game is functioning, and as you can see here, when the gunplay is flowing and you're enjoying yourself, this is a really, really enjoyable experience that you can have on PC anyways. And I mean, even though the gunplay isn't the best that I have ever played, I still think that in its own way it's fun. And you know, this is an RPG at heart, you know, and you have multiple different options in terms of how you get rid of enemies. You can go melee, you can go you can attack them with weapons, or you can just hack into them and cause them issues that way. So you know, the gunplay isn't going to be 100% the focus at all times. So I suppose we can't expect the same sort of gunplay you'd get out of something like Rage 2, which is kind of being compared a lot to recently. As well as the gunplay, other aspects of the game, like the driving, are okay, I suppose. It feels a little bit floaty. I'm pretty used to using the mouse and keyboard, or the keyboard rather, for driving. But obviously it's going to be a lot better on the controller, but I just don't really fancy swapping over and back between the two. I mean, this is a first-person game, and except when of course you're driving on bikes and it goes third person. So I think, to be honest, your best method of input, especially when you're shooting like here, is going to be the mouse and keyboard. You're going to get the best accuracy. But again, people are going to disagree with me on that. So that's the driving. Stealth, as I said, is hit or miss. It may improve over time as I level up my character and improve their stealth stats. There's a lot of dialogue in the game. It's an RPG, so that's to be expected. You can skip through it, kind of fast forward through the certain parts if you've read them, and you know, it's dialogue heavy, and I suppose I'm okay with that. It's definitely a game that you're going to be kind of grinding away at and sitting at home playing on your own. Again, I always use the example, I have friends over here and we play games together. We put games on the PC or on the Xbox or whatever and play them together. It's definitely not one I'd think that you're not going to be playing together. You're not going to be taking turns doing missions. They can be dialogue heavy and you're sitting through chunks of dialogue reading it. It's definitely a single player and sort of very personal experience as it is with a lot of RPG games. So as you can see here, I'm clearing out these guys and making my way through this mission. And as you can see, I'm using a selection of weapons here. I've got this sort of charged rifle, and I've also got this machine gun here as well, this automatic rifle that I'm using. And again, early days in the game, nice kill there, nice sticky explosion. I don't even think that was a sticky grenade, funnily enough, for whatever reason it stuck to him. But yeah, I haven't got a great loadout of guns. I'm very light at the moment in terms of what I'm carrying. I'm still figuring out what type of weapons I like. I have a melee weapon in my first slot, and I like to try and keep some sort of an automatic rifle in my second slot, and then if I can slip in a shotgun as well, all well and good. But yeah, the melee weapons are quite effective. I found that if you can close the distance on your opponents with the dodge and sprint, then you can kind of do some serious damage. I've got some pretty good knives there. But again, it's early days, and I may change up my play style again. Now, all that great stuff, that shooting that we've seen there, then we come to stuff like this. This is a clip that I recorded on another mission. That is another stealth mission, funnily enough. And as you can see here, this guy just not giving a single fuck whatsoever and walking straight through those boxes. And this is, as I said, a stealth mission. As you'll see now in a second here, I kind of got a bit suspicious as the mission went on that I wasn't being detected due to my poor stealth skills. And as you can see, this guy is absolutely not noticing me at all. And I got a bit confused here, and he was looking straight through me. But yeah, basically what happened was the game had just glitched completely, and NPCs were taking these really weird paths and routes around this warehouse here, and not noticing me at all. So it kind of broke the immersion for me in that. Here's another bug that I came across. This is as you can see, kind of a hobo fire, if you want to call it that. And the lighting effects kind of loading in very close to me. And I've noticed this in a few different areas. And as you can see, the other barrels there are illuminated at distance. So I don't really understand what this is. And before people start telling me, well, it's your settings, you know, I fiddled with all sorts of settings before I captured that footage and couldn't get that issue to disappear. So it's definitely some sort of a lighting bug. Woman walking along the street here that had just proceeded to walk right through that van that you saw behind. Person spawns out of nowhere and nearly plows me down. And as you can see here, I look away and look back, and she's gone. And that's a regular problem, NPCs just disappearing right in front of your eyes. And then with all those bugs and the ones you've seen on the internet, we have scenes like this where you're walking down a canal, which shouldn't really look that good, but just looks fantastic. Or you're driving through Night City and the neon signs are illuminated, and you're in a nice flash car like I'm driving here, and the game really does look fantastic. This is at 1440p, high settings. I do not have RTX enabled, and the reason I don't have RTX enabled is I'm not going to sacrifice half my frame rate. I have a 2070 Super, which is the first generation of RTX cards, and you know, the technology was still being figured out, and I'm just not going to turn it on. I don't think it changes the game visually that much. People are going to argue with me, of course, and say, of course it does. You know, you're not looking for the subtleties. The real gamers will say you need to have RTX on, but I'm perfectly happy to play with these screen space reflections here, and I think the game still looks fantastic. And I think the performance hopefully can only improve as time goes on, as CD Projekt Red get their shit together and fix these bugs and improve performance, because that is what we want. So that's kind of my opinions. That's some showcases of some of the bugs that I came across, and just my general kind of, I suppose, ramblings and thoughts on the game. I've reached 700 subscribers. Thanks so much for that, guys. I really appreciate it. If you like my content, please subscribe and hit the like button below, and I can keep delivering you these videos that are hopefully improving at all the time. I'll leave you with this woman here who seems to have these fantastic robotic legs, and I'll see you in the next video.